Just give you guys a quick update. A couple injuries. Jordan Hicks had a left foot. He'll get an MRI on that. Chris Boyd, a left knee contusion. We'll ultimately evaluate him, but hopefully we can get him turned over on a short week. And then we did have Blake Lynch with a shoulder. He'll be evaluated tomorrow further. And then Brandell did have a right knee that will require an MRI just to really figure out. But he was possibly able to come back in the game, he at least said, but we wanted to be smart with him at that point. But we'll take a look at where he's at. Got to give the Lions credit. They played a really solid football game. I thought our guys battled, but we just didn't do enough today to win the game playing complementary football. When I look at it, there were some positive performances from some individual players and some things that gave us a chance to be in the football game, but just across the board, not enough in the run game offensively, and a pretty critical turnover in the low red, trying to take a shot at a play right there. And then defensively, they had a good game plan and attacked us really in the run and pass today. So we got to be better if we want to earn the right to punch our ticket into the playoffs. We sure better have a playoff-worthy type performance, which I did not think overall as a football team we did today. And that's ultimately something that falls on me, and I can do a lot of things better myself, our coaching staff, and then we'll just go back to work and clean up some of the execution and be ready to be at our best next Saturday back at home at US Bank. Yeah, we had some interior penetration on the play, and Dalvin was actually going to attempt to throw that football to Johnny Munt, and he was open in the back. We just wanted to make sure, number one, that there was no penetration there, and ultimately trying to be aggressive in that moment. Goal line defense in there, not a lot of runs from the 3-yard line, and we had the play set up and just didn't execute, and the ball went the other way. It was a critical error. We got to go back and look at it, and I'm always going to rely on our guys to make that play and execute in that moment, but ultimately a huge play in the game.
When you call a play like that, and obviously Dalvin is going to do something he's not used to doing, like how much do you take that into account?
We've practiced it quite a bit. We've practiced it quite a bit.
And he obviously felt comfortable.
I did. I felt comfortable with him executing that play in that moment.
What's your level of concern now with the defense, just all the yards you've given up, the explosives, and obviously really got you there?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of some things, but I think we got to take a look at what we can do to potentially help our guys be in position to make more plays, be a little bit more aggressive possibly, but ultimately I think we got to generate some more rush, however we do it, and then just try to limit explosives. And what that looks like, Chris, I think it's a variety of things, but I think if we're doing our jobs effectively, we've got to take a look at it to try to improve our football team.
Kevin, on the long one, they get to Jameson Williams there. What happened on that?
Yeah, I think like it sounds like we were in kind of a quarters coverage structure, and they just were able to get one of our safeties to kind of nail down and opened up the explosive. Very similar to a couple plays we hit on the other side as well. You know what, I think just early on, I didn't think our execution was very solid. It just seemed like at least watching it and observing it, it just seemed like there was a little bit of execution error, maybe some combinations not being tight enough, maybe some backer run through, maybe we're, on plays where we heavily accounted for nickel pressure and things like that. We just didn't quite get it done. And I think that's my message to the team was about execution. It was about the details. It was about doing the little things. How many times can we have all 11 do their jobs? Because when we tend to do that, things work out in our favor. And that's we'll continue what we'll do is go back to work, coach the details, and demand a level of execution, especially in the run game, to get back to where we want to be.
Do you have any concern that the injuries to Harrison or Garrett Bradbury long-term at all?
No, I do not. And Garrett was pretty close to a game-time decision, and we just decided where he was at, that we had confidence in Schlott taking the reps, most of the reps. Garrett did get some during the practice week, but CD cleared the protocol, and we'll kind of progress through the week next week. But we just really in a game where, we were coming in with, everything we had. We still wanted to be smart as we, get into December with some of our players that have been banged up. but no real long-term concerns with either of those two players, Kev.
The pick on 4th and 8, I think it was, that's your 26, up by 7.
Yeah, huge play. Huge play. A lot of respect for that special teams coordinator over there. We knew at some point, it's pretty well documented, they're going to try to steal possession at some point, and they were able to do that against us, which was unfortunate.
How much do you think missing the two guys on the offensive line for the key with the running game?
Yeah, it's possible. We'll have to take a look at it and really see. It did seem like just kind of my observations, and sometimes it can be hard from the sideline to see it all. But my gut tells me the hard down kind of moved around, and whether it was one thing here or one thing there, just not good enough across the board in the run game to help sustain, especially on a day where, I thought Kirk Cousins battled. I thought Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and Adam Thielen and KJ and these guys showing up, making some plays to just try to keep us in the football game on a day where we did not run it well enough. 1.3 a carry is not going to allow you to sustain drives, and quite frankly, that skilled group of guys. And the offensive line and their pass pro giving Kirk time, but I think just that first down, that early down mentality of having an execution level be a standard, and then allowing the effort and the understanding of what you have to do in the run game in this league, regardless of the opponent, to have success on a consistent basis.
Kevin, when Kirk is under that kind of pressure and the run game isn't working, for him to come back and do what he did, I guess, what did you think of his performance overall?
Yeah, I thought he was attempting to will our football team to a victory. Both with his execution level to Justin's adjustments he made since the last time he played against these guys. I thought he played incredibly fast and explosive, and Kirk was right there with him every step of the way. I'm really proud of those guys, and I think that will continue to help us moving forward. We did a lot of different things today in the pass game to kind of have a plan of attack based upon what we saw the last time. Pair that with a little bit better day running the football, and I think we'll be offensively in a place where we feel like we can compete.
In terms of pass game, Justin Jefferson, 223 yards, a team record. Just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and just really competed. I think he is as talented as anybody I've ever been around, and then he's an ultimate competitor. Had a great week of preparation. He was dialed in from the jump, and then ultimately just trying to do whatever he could to make the plays required to. And we really. You're looking up at the scoreboard, that's one thing, but all I know is that this team feels like as long as we give ourselves a chance, we're going to find a way. And we just didn't have enough, and couldn't quite get that rock back with enough time to make it, what we had hoped. But tons of credit to Justin and Kirk for how they executed today, and I do want to go back and look at that long completion there towards the end. It looked like he did stay in bounds. But I'm 53 1/3 away on the other side of the field, so when it was real dead, not much we can do about it.
In terms of, you were very aggressive on offense, going for it on 4th down early.
Yep.
The 2-point conversion, how much of that has to do with, their offense is maybe going to come back and get points against you?
Yeah, I felt like we needed to be aggressive today. I felt like, that scenario with that 4th and 1, when we had an opportunity to continue that drive, I got a lot of confidence in our guys and expect in that situation, regardless, that we can potentially try to get a yard right there. We had to play with some different variances to it depending on how they lined up, and it ended up being a play where we thought we could get Dalvin kind of in a space one-on-one, maybe with the corner to try to get a yard, and they just made a play.
Kevin, on the one where they put so well in motion there at the end, how much have they shown that look?
I know they've shown the look to run the football out of that stuff. That's become kind of a popular thing around the league with some of these real athletic tackles like a Trent Williams or like Sewell. He's a special player, and there's a reason why he was drafted where he was, and that's just them being willing to execute a play like that in a critical moment where, it's a good call and great execution, and I think that's something to kind of circle back on. It's just the execution level, in those critical downs. They just made more plays than we did, and they earned the victory.
Last two? What do you feel like, just on a general level, you guys need to do? You mentioned execution, but what needs to happen to get the run game going?
Well, I think it's game in and game out sometimes. How it tends to go. We've tried to be consistent with it and have been able to grind out some 25, 27, 28 plus carry type of games at 4 or 5 a carry. It's one thing to not really have those explosives, but it's another thing to have the negatives. I think we had 5 today. So first and foremost, we got to eliminate the negatives in the run game, and I think that's where when we're accounting for a hat on a hat in the box and we've got a plan, that's where the execution word tends to come up. But yeah, that's going to be a major focus, making sure we continue to have some balance with our offense to help try to apply pressure to the defense.
Thanks, everyone. Well, Kirk, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys.